It's football time, and we scored a dime. Football's on, so let's smoke a bong. TGIF.
Bob Ross used to say, we don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents. And this here podcast, this is a prime example of that. As a few years ago, Wes created a Dan Le Batard show-themed fantasy league. And following a successful first year, 6 of us league members got together to record what we thought was a one-and-done podcast, the Dan Le Batard Show Draft. But it was so much fun, we said, hey, let's keep doing this. And 9 months later, here we are. So let's go back to where it all began. The Lfdpgi, the Fantasy Football League. Playoffs are approaching. Commish, why don't you bring everybody up to speed on what's happening?
And, only fitting the playoffs around the corner, and so is Moss Miami. Let's get that little, our quote, sponsor, unquote, in there. Moss Miami presents the Limited Fake Dr. Phil Gala Invitational. Allen, Mean Gene, Thick standings will be coming up soon. That's just a tease. That's how you... Wait, are we doing radio or podcast? What is this? Anyway, real quick, guys. Just a recap with a K. What's up, Capo? A little league history of formation. What's really wild about it all is, I was scrolling Twitter one night and saw this one guy wanting to join a fantasy league. And I'm like, well, shit. I was about to create a fantasy league anyway for the show, for fans. Let's get this guy involved. We need to get him in a league. Let's get a new guy playing fantasy. So I created the league. Fast forward. Is this guy still in the league, guys? Is he?
He is not, and I don't even know if he's on Twitter. I can't.
Right. I think it was put it on the poll.
There was an incident.
Yes, there was, an incident. We've had a couple of incidents in the league. Is it us or is it them?
It's Twitter. It's Twitter.
Yeah, it's Twitter. Yeah, I think it's just, But anyway, things happen for a reason, and here we are. Hey, if you're listening, put it on the poll. Thank you. Yeah. So
I hope he's alive. I can't find him.
But not. All right, so what we want to go into, guys? We want to do some standings. We want to do some trades.
Yeah, Wes, if you don't mind, I'll take over for a moment.
No, I thought. Let me check my notes here. Wait, yeah, dude is a better host than my goofy ass.
Well,
Continue.
I have a lot to say just because second year means more than the first year. The first year meant something, especially when you have people like Troy who openly said, I've never played fantasy football before. I'm going to do an auto draft and I'm going to beat all of you. So he's as good at trash talk as he is at drinking, as he is at being bad at fantasy football. Yet he also proved that being good at fantasy football doesn't always get you anywhere. So the first season was a commish onslaught. Now, while we're on that note, let me just say that there is no commish like Wes. Okay. I've had many fantasy football commissioners in my 20 plus years of fantasy football. We're talking injuries up to the minute, late scratches, healthy scratches, players available on the waiver wire, looking at this guy goes above and beyond to help your team, but he's also playing the game. And the game is, I want your best player. I'm going to get him via trade. And we all learned that the hard way in season 1 as he dominated on his way to a landslide victory over ASOM in the title. Now, we're into the second season, right? And guess what? Wes is on top again at 9-3. I would like you to take it from there.
Y'all caught onto the grift real quick because, not to go into trade grades or anything, but I did 38 trades last year. This year, I've only done 14, and the trade deadline's tomorrow. So, yeah,
we'll get into that. So, first question: why do we even have a trade deadline in fantasy football? What does it matter if we extended it the whole season? Other than collusion, which we vote on anyway. But second here, You're 9-3 this year. I think you only had one loss last year. 2? Is that accurate?
Well, actually, technically, I had no losses. Like, I gave up a loss just because, what was it, Asom? I was facing him that week. He took over Grossenit's team, the guy that got kicked off Twitter.
Grossenit, that's right, yes.
Yeah, he got kicked off Twitter for whatever. We don't know. And
what are you saying? You took a dive?
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, to hook him up. I was like, yeah, like I did. Like, that's the kind of guy I am. I could have went undefeated that year, and I've never finished the year undefeated in fantasy. And I could have done it that year, and I did not.
Okay, well, that will be a year 3 thing, apparently. But you're tied for first right now, 9-3, with the one and only Bo, who finished dead last year. Big turnaround. Obviously, his life was almost completely ruined by doing a live tweet of coward, so he decided to step it up this year. We'll get into the other possible playoff teams when we get to Troy. But towards the bottom of the barrel there, the bottom of the barrel is Cheese. We like Cheese for what he is, but he's 1-11. I would like one of you, while I'm talking here, to look up who his one win was against, because that should be an automatic playoff elimination.
Oh, my God. Who did he beat? Because
while I'm doing that, since only the top 6 teams make the playoffs, I believe for the second straight year, my 4-8 record, 2 games out, 3 games out, never mind. It's not going to get there. I'm eliminated from playoff contention. I have a lot of problems with it. I have a recent loss that I would like to discuss. And I face the post-traumatic stress of going through the losers bracket again. Wes, please jump in and describe this losers bracket, because I'm telling you, it was like 7 weeks long last year, and I felt like I was on the chopping block, meaning to be dead last 4 times.
And that's the, not in your point of view, but in my point of view, the beauty of the consolation ladder when there is a punishment involved. Because, okay, like, yeah, you either go up the consolation ladder, or you'll either go down the consolation ladder. See, the key is you want to keep winning. I think your problem was you started out in the very bottom, the gutter, last year. You and, who was it? 80. I'm sorry. God, I'm drunk. Yeah, you guys, like, so you started out in that last place, like that very first week in the consolation bracket, and you still faced each other, 2 weeks later?
Yes,
in the final.
I won. I thought I was safe. What the hell happened?
You lost and you went back down. So
Okay,
you won the first week.
explain it
You won the first week. You lost the second week, so you went back down.
Okay, so the bottom 2, if you win the first week and lose the second week, you're still back in the bottom. So what if I'm in the top 2 of the losers bracket? Am I safe?
See, that's where you get in the little safety. Yeah, you get a little more safe. So yeah. If you're in the if you're the higher up you are on the ladder, the better off you're going to be.
Okay, are you able to drunkenly describe it here? You have 6 bottom teams. Okay, you have what? The top 2 bottom teams facing each other, the middle 2 facing each other, the dead last 2 facing each other, right? So then if you win in the top 2, you're probably safe for the rest, right?
So let's say, like, if the playoffs started today, your 7-8 seed, they're facing each other. I won't even mention the names because it's irrelevant at the moment because it could change. The 7-8 seed, whoever wins that matchup, they're safe. They're not even going to have to worry about being in last place. Okay, but all right. Say like you say the 9-10 matchup. You got that, okay, in the consolation ladder. You win that matchup, okay. You move up the ladder. You would face the winner of the 7-8 matchup.
So you're probably also safe there.
Yes, that's what So
Gotcha.
you would also be safe. The people that are really in the fear is the person that loses the 9-10 matchup that first week in the consolation ladder. And also, unfortunately, even though if you're the winner of the 11-12 matchup, you still have a little bit of fear, which unfortunately, that's what happened to you last year. I think you won. Yeah, you beat 80 that first week. You moved on the following week, but you lost.
Yeah, I
So
won,
you
lost,
moved back down. So you moved back down into the last place game, the toilet bowl.
Okay, so I think I get it. And I mean, it makes it fun because you don't want to be dead last. You don't want to have to go to a Waffle House or tweet coward or,
People
whatever,
still have to set their lineups. It makes it, it still makes it a
whatever
little
the punishment
competitive.
is.
Right.
Puts a little skin in the game for that dead last spot. So real quick, since I'm doomed to be in the losers bracket again, I'm 4-8. I have 1,422 points on the season, which is more than Coley, tied for third. It's more than Greg's Phlegm, who's on OLI playoffs, and it's definitely more than the last three shitheads in our league. But the real problem for me is that 2 weeks ago, I was 4-6, on the verge of going 5-6, and I actually have the stats here. It was a Sunday night game between the Chiefs and the Chargers.
I love this. This is I love it. Continue.
It was the Chiefs and the Chargers, and I only scored like 80-some points, but more importantly, I was projected to win. God damn you, ESPN projections.
Yeah, hey, real quick, sidebar. Those projections on ESPN, you got to remember, those could be more of like a ceiling projection than a median projection. That's what they think.
You don't have to speak on their behalf, Wes. Okay? And you don't have to use the word more. You know why? Because I was facing a guy named Sky Moore. That's the only
my
one
God! I know who you're facing. Oh God!
So I'm going against Steak Sauce. All right, so I already want to beat him.
Yep.
Steak Sauce. 2, I don't know if Steak Sauce is really paying attention to the league. I think it's hit or miss.
He halfway does. Sometimes I know.
I think he did what he had to do to set a starting lineup.
That has happened to him before too. Yeah.
And so let me just say this. Sky Moore, I ended up losing by a very close margin. The exact score was it was 82.62 to 81.14. 1.5 points and I win. Okay.
Oh, damn.
Sky Moore on the season. Well, in this game, he had 5 receptions for 63 yards.
Yeah, that's definitely his
And most of them little dunk receptions in a game that didn't really matter.
You could probably combine all his points from all the other weeks in the season and it wouldn't equal that because
not exactly.
But it's exaggerating.
His previous high or his other high was just this last game, 36 yards. Other than that, it was 31. Any other week of Sky Moore's stats, I would win that game. I'd be 5-6. I'd be tied with Troy. I'd be right in the mix. And instead, I am now doomed for toilet bowl back-to-back years. I might be the only one who's going to the losers bracket back-to-back years. And
Chris Quody.
The last thing I'll say before I turn it over to Troy is whoever the schedule maker is did me no fucking favor. Okay? Because let me just first week Bo, second week Troy wanted to beat that asshole, lost by 30. Third week Jim Thorpe Birds, then Coley whooped her ass. Then you in week 6, Wes. All of a sudden in week 12, I'm playing Wes again. I didn't play Troy a second time. I didn't play Coley a second time. I didn't play Bo a second time. I got to play fucking Wes, the commissioner, 2 fucking weeks. I scored over 100 both times and lost both times. What the fuck? Who did the schedule?
Well, it's auto-generated.
Auto-generated to screw me up the ass.
It generally likes to fuck you over, yes. On recency bias.
All right. Last thing I'll say is this. Losing to Troy in week 2 It's like automatic elimination from the playoffs. I'm fine with it.
Nah.
I can't get it back. It doesn't matter what I do. He has that over me. He doesn't even know the names of these fucking players, and he beat me. So on that note, Troy, I would like to know your thoughts and feelings and stress or non-stress on the fact that you are on the verge of the playoffs. You need a win here these next couple weeks, at least one. How are you feeling at the moment?
Let's hear it for Auto Draft year 2.0. That's right. We kept her on Auto Draft again. We flew the coop. We rode the wave. All we did this year, different from last year, is paid maybe just 10 seconds more attention on the week.
And accept less trades from me.
2 fewer less trades. We'll get to that later. Thank you, Taysom Hill. And also, frankly, I've got this running back, McCaffrey, who's kind of saved my bacon a bunch of times this year.
He doesn't even know his name.
I like that.
Cafferty, whatever. Only this week. And also, it's especially poignant goods because I've got your boy Kirk COVID Cousins, who beat Patrick Mahomes last week when I scored 146.6 points. That's right. I don't need Mixon or Dixon or Lixon, whatever his name is. I don't need the other guy, that wide receiver 2, wide receiver 4, 6, whatever it is. That's all right. I'm just going to take the players the good Lord doth give me through the auto draft and reap what he doth sow with the rain upon the just and the unjust. And as it were, I also would like to remind you that I beat you not once this year, but also in the toilet bowl brackets last year twice after you beat me once. So you're 1-4, bro. In case you need to keep track of how much money you don't make off of my ass, it's none. That's right. I'm happy to say we're going to keep it going. And also, I do love me a good fantasy draft, but stress? No, I don't really do that in this particular lifestyle. I do appreciate the effort people put into it. I love the projections. That's my favorite part. It's like the early games, I feel good about it. 51-49, 55-45, 65-30. A couple weeks ago, I was up like 78.6 to 12. And then one play happened. I lost 99-1. So that's my favorite thing about watching it is watching the probabilities change. So unlike y'all who worry about the players, I'm here for the good time. And I'll just tell you that 5th place is not last place. So the playoff bracket's treating me just all right.
And this is how Lady Luck has been on his side this year. Okay. Like we heard about, Goods and his bad luck. This MF had DeAndre Carter in his lineup and one of the super flex spots. Who does that normally? And of course he played well.
Can I add to that? This fucker has McCaffrey, Miles Sanders, Joe Mixon. Like there maybe is something to an auto draft.
Well, yeah. See what happens. What's funny?
Good players.
Best available player.
Yeah, exactly. What's funny with the auto draft is they'll go with the best available player, and it's like people were afraid to take because they might be a bust or whatever. But those players sometimes pay off, and if you take enough of them, you're going to have a good team.
I hate you, Troy.
It's great to be hated by many people. Loved by one, hated by many. It's a great life.
He has guys on the roster that shouldn't be on the roster. He's got Devontae Parker. He's got D. Hilliard from Tennessee, Taysom Hill, T. Marshall from Carolina. Like he just hasn't messed with his lineup because he doesn't care, and it pisses me off.
Hey, to be fair, that Terrace Marshall ad has been kind of sneaky good a couple of weeks.
He's good for 138. He's good for 138-yard reception a game.
In this week's draft, fellas, I'm going to pick up Mike Trout. I hear he's available.
It's not even a draft. Get out. Just get him out of here. He doesn't even know how to say McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey.
It's pronounced Mike Trout.
Fuckers.
That's probably a good segue into Wes, your feelings on possibly being the first repeat champion in a league that's only 2 years old. Will you cry if you win? Will you cry if you lose? Will you dedicate a win to ASOM?
I'd like to dedicate this next waiver ad to ASOM. If you know, you know. That's a year one joke. But I would not be shocked if I lost this year. I really wouldn't. Like when I had Cooper Kupp, I was like, I got this, boys. And then he got hurt. And then I was looking at my roster. I was like, oh shit, I've traded away all my depth for other guys. What am I going to do? Oh no. Wait, my team's still pretty good compared to the rest of you guys.
I suggest next year we do a supplemental, a B league. Everyone must commit to auto draft and only take out players who are injured.
I kind of want to do one of those.
That would be interesting. Yeah. Everybody does an auto. Yeah. Okay.
I'll even commissioner that one.
Nice.
All right. Well, we know how well your trades worked out last year, even though I won one of the trades with you. McLaurin for Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
But you pulled off some amazing trades last year. Not getting as many takers this year except for Cheese. So do you want to go over a couple of ways you just anally raped him? Wait, can we say anally raped on this?
Graped. He was graped a couple of times. For example, October 12th. Hold on.
You know the date?
Fuck yeah, dude. I did my research, MFers. October 12th. Dun, dun, dun. Jared Goff for Cordell Patterson.
Wait, you got Cordell?
Yes,
Cordell?
I sure did. Oh, fuck yeah. You think I'm going to accept Jared Goff for Cordell Patterson?
See, that's the problem is you've thrown so many at me. I don't even know what I'm rejecting now. I just know I'm rejecting it if it's coming from you.
Well, okay. Here's like me being like an honest grader, evaluator. Like, say I wasn't even a part of this trade. First off, do not accept trades when quarterbacks are involved. You can usually get them off the waiver wire. But I love throwing in a quarterback to get a deal done because most people don't know any better. Mute.
This is the podcast of bad laughs, bad diabolical laughs.
Isn't it? Yeah. This is our limited fake, evil laughter. But no, this is almost like the tell-all, too. I'm like exposing this is like the magician, like giving all away his secrets, man.
Oh, you don't have to. Just tell us how you fucked Cheese over.
Tell us, Commish, how did you shred Cheese?
He put his ass to the grinder. No, like, okay, here's the thing with, like, trading, especially in, like, newer leagues. Like,
do you butter him up with compliments?
No, but that has worked before. Yeah, okay, like in the home league with a friend's wife, so to speak. Like, hey, here's a digital code for a movie. I've done that before to get a deal done in a money league. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. But yeah, the Jared Goff Cordell Patterson trade though, to circle back, like, yeah, Steve or Cheese, I know you're probably going to be listening eventually. Like next year, if I'm going to give you any advice, forget by then. But do not accept a quarterback for a positional player trade, especially if somebody like Cordell Patterson's stature. Like, I know he's not played too well, but it's CPAT.
Okay. So I'm looking at your team. You were the number one pick. You took Jonathan Taylor, or you got him otherwise?
Let's a nice segue back to our trade grade or fade talk. I acquired Jonathan Taylor in a trade.
From who?
Can you believe it?
From
Here's
Cheese?
the thing. No, shocker. This is from somebody that does not use Twitter much, if at all. Larry McSanders. I actually frequent or talk to him more in the group chat on the Sleeper Dynasty Hoops League app than I do on Twitter. Anyway, he doesn't like Twitter. Can't blame him. Anyway, I did a trade with him. Let's recap, and you guys can grade for those that want to. I sent over to him Geno Smith, DK Metcalf. I can already see Goods' reaction. And here's the sweetener, Juju Smith-Schuster. 4, Jonathan Taylor and Keenan Allen.
A second player.
And I got Keenan Allen thrown in, who I eventually flipped in another deal.
All right. So, number 1, he always does the either 3 for 1 or 3 for 2. That way it's like, oh, I'm getting 3. Great. Wonderful. Doesn't matter what shit you're throwing at me as long as you're giving me more. And then, Wes, I just got to say, whatever sales position you end up landing someday, you're like a great golf course guy, right? Like making deals, working in free movies. Like
I tell you,
there's a firm that needs to hire you.
When I worked at shitty TJ Maxx just to get a week-to-week check, like in the last decade, I had signed up so many people for credit cards. I feel bad for them, honestly.
Okay, so...
Oh, wait, before... Commish, can I jump in real quick with a question for our good commissioner?
Yes.
Commish, you're a man from the South. Have you thought about converting to Mormonism? I think you could probably win the day and save the planet.
I mean, there are dumb. There's some certain perks to that, though. I can get more women, right?
I'm sure. Yeah. And the LDS church would probably provide you with a nice van. Yeah.
I guess... the women might not be in particular that I might be fond of, but beggars can't be choosers at this point.
I think you'd be surprised. Come to Nevada and see what you can get away with.
That should be their state motto. Come to Nevada. See what you can get away with.
That is a good new motto.
It really is.
To replace what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
It's more clean.
All right, Wes, before we move on from you, you have 3 first-rounders on your team right now. You have Austin Eckler, Jonathan Taylor, and you have Cooper Kupp. Which one of these guys did you actually draft?
That would be Austin Eckler, who I took over Christian McCaffrey.
What pick? Jesus.
So I guess, he must have went after me, I bet Troy went after me in the first round, so I bet he auto-drafted McCaffrey.
So you don't know what pick you were?
I want to say I went 6th overall or 7th.
Okay, how did you get 12
team? That was another trade. Let's recap that one.
I know you're hating all of this, recapping all of your trades.
Well, this is a trade I ended up regretting. This is a trade I regret now. But what's so awesome about this deal, I did it with Dylan, who lives out in Alaska. So I did this, I was still up. I went out on a lazy river. I got Anyway, I came back home. It's 3 a.m. my time. What is it in Alaska? 11, I guess-ish?
I had no fucking clue what time zone Alaska.
Yeah. I always get this mixed up. Always get this wrong.
It's an hour behind Pacific, so it's 2 hours behind me.
Oh.
It's an hour behind you.
So it is 4 hours west.
So it's just 4 hours. Okay, so it was about 11-ish his time, but 3-ish my time. This is the deal we worked out after a little haggling and finagling and back and forth. I miss this guy so much right now. I sent him Ramondre Stevenson, Keenan Allen, who I just required in that other deal, so I'm flipping him, and Jeff Wilson Jr. At the time, he was still with the 49ers, though. 4, Cooper Kupp and James Conner.
James Conner? Wow.
See, that's a deal. At the time, that was a banger. That was
James Conner is saving it right now.
It is. Yeah, if I didn't get James Conner thrown in that deal, I fucking got... Well, I'm still got blood, but Conner
Kupp might come back, right?
No, I don't think he's going to come back. The Rams are screwed. I don't really see them bringing Kupp back this year.
You still fucked him on that trade, even though Kupp got hurt.
Ramondre Stevenson has just been... I miss him right now. But yeah, at the time, I won that trade at the time, in the moment.
What trade have you lost for real?
Okay.
I don't know. I think you lost that Geno Smith trade earlier. That was
the Geno Smith DK Metcalf stack, baby.
Any Geno Smith trade you lost.
Dude, getting to flip Geno Smith in a deal that acquired Jonathan Taylor, I should get a fucking medal.
By the way, real quick, I can pick up Geno Smith in my 23-year league, the one I care about the most with my friends, right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm picking him up.
Get him. Okay, here's a deal that I did lose, and I lost this bigger and shit, and I did this deal with my heart more at the time, which this is why you lose deals, fellas. Don't do deals with your heart. Do it with your head always, or your gut. I sent, this is back, October 12th. I sent Josh Palmer and Donovan Peoples-Jones for Hunter Renfrow. Okay, from my perspective at the time, even if it was a homer pick, because I love the Raiders, it's Hunter Renfrow, like PPR. Like, you go by his history.
I'm sorry, repeat it.
Yeah, Josh Palmer and Donovan Peoples-Jones, who are now pretty good flex wide receivers in PPR. They are. There's no debate about that. They just are. They're good.
I thought you said Josh Jacobs, and I was like,
oh,
what?
no. Oh, my God, no. I would know. I would. But I got Hunter Renfrow back. And at the time, he was sucking. He was doing really bad, but I thought I was buying low. And he was going to come back and finish the year strong. Well, he got hurt. Oopsie daisy. And even if he wasn't hurt, he sucked this year. And Josh Palmer and Donovan Peoples-Jones have been sneaky good. They have, because Palmer's filled in for injured Mike Williams or Keenan Allen, and DPJ is just. It's going to be interesting to see how he connects with Deshaun Watson, because he really clicked there with Brissett finally there at the end.
Hey, Ron, sound the sexual assault sounder, please. Deshaun Watson in the house.
Sexual assault warning.
I'm also going to get blocked by the Browns this week. I guarantee it.
I wouldn't call
Put
it
on the board.
Yeah.
Coming after him. I'm putting out all sorts of things that are going to probably get me blocked by cousin Elon, Deshaun, and the whole pilot family. So be forewarned.
Sexual predator warning.
Meow, meow, meow. But Kamish, to reframe our conversation, would you rehash for Goods and Ron the trade with which happened the week before COVID Cousins bye week involving one Taysom Hill?
Yes. I mean, raping wouldn't be such a word I would use. I mean, I might have fondled you a little bit, honestly, because this guy's been it was a buy low and he's not really panned out for me. Let me explain. Okay, so I sent over Taysom Hill and Chuba Hubbard. See, before I even tell you who I picked up, at the time, okay, this is November 4th, because, I've been keeping up with dates.
Hang on. I'm going to stop.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Before you tell me at the time, I know what you're doing. Okay. I know you projected these people to not matter a couple weeks later. Tell me who you got.
How dare you figure out my plot twist? Are you hey, M. Night Shyamalan me before you... anyway. But anyway, let me point out what
let's do an M. Night Shyamalan podcast.
Here at the time though, see, he just had Dallas Goedert go down, right? And our tight end waiver wire was so fuckety. And this is how you attack somebody, all right, guys? No offense, Godfather, but he needed a tight end bad, and the player I acquired wasn't really cutting it out too well this season. A great buy low. Ron, you'll be familiar with this person I'm about to mention. Deontay Johnson. I traded Taysom Hill and Chuba Hubbard for Deontay Johnson in redraft. Most years you're recently you're huh? That's an awful trade. And it still is an awful trade, Godfather. No offense. But Deontay Johnson really hadn't been that great, though. I mean, honestly, like, he hadn't been that great, so he didn't really lose out on too much.
Hold on. Troy, you brought up this trade unprompted as if to say that he didn't screw you because of whatever reason when he has a wide receiver that's in his starting lineup and you have two guys that have no business being on your roster anymore.
May I respond?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Goods, you're in 10th place. Shut the fuck up.
Somehow I did not see that coming, and I should have.
You really should have. He owns you, man. Like,
fuck you. I wouldn't have done that trade with you. I've had bad luck.
Have we done a trade this year in this league? Because I know I got you with CD Lamb in the other league with Sia.
You see my other league? I have a stacked roster, even without CD Lamb.
Man, that league is soft. We needed 9 people in the starting lineup. No offense, Sia.
Here, let me text Sia right now.
Oh my God! Look at me, Louie. We can do show references since this is the Moss Miami presents the limited fake Dr. Phil Gala Invitational. To circle back around what we were talking about originally.
Also known as the Goods losing event.
Wes can always say something that needs 20 words with 200.
Speaking of the league and the namesake of the league, hey, Cheese, and speaking of that MF Cheese, I hope you're prepared to do some limited fakes.
I believe Kamish also, our friend Cheese, is working on like a dance number.
No shit.
For his loser bracket opportunity, or maybe just to be seen on the Twitters.
Yeah, he's wanting some clicks. That's all right. Hey, I like a click.
Cheese wants to be the loser.
Yes.
I think he is purposely, and I think that's why he accepts some of these trades. Like, speaking of, we're coming up on the trade deadline. I need to send him, try to get Jamar Chase off him.
Get the fuck out of here.
Let me see if I can get Jamar Chase.
I dare you to send me a trade tonight. Tonight is your only chance.
Actually, I'm going to check. I'm going to hover over the rosters and see what I can pull off because, yeah, noon's going to be here before you know it, Eastern time, boys.
Ooh, did Kamish just send a trade into Goods?
No.
Fuck all you motherfuckers. I hate being in the losers bracket 2 years in a row. Go fuck yourself, Troy, in your auto draft. I'm going to beat your ass next year, okay? And Wes, if you fuck Cheese over another time next season to win a title,
this season,
kicking him out of the military, dishonorable discharge, and out of our group.
Next season, I'm about to get Jamar Chase before the deadline this season. Wait to see.
Post that so that he doesn't trade Jamar Chase.